What's up, everyone? So, NATO should be disbanded, and America should have nothing to do with the Russo-Ukrainian war. This war is probably the dumbest thing America's ever gotten involved with since probably Korea or Vietnam. Afghanistan was pretty dumb too, but Vietnam and Korea was the dumbest thing we could have ever done. Getting involved with this is really going to just screw us. There, we are going to be increasingly unsafe. It will be increasingly harder to afford the necessities such as gas, food, water, electricity, and it's going to severely impact the American working class in a negative way with our quality of life. And we may actually see nuclear war or our soldiers sent in some capacity to bordering countries or actually on the ground in Ukraine. This is devastating for the American working class, and this is devastating especially for a country that's already so war weary for the last 150 years. Um, eh, this is pain on the highest level. Now, I'd like to disclose first that my heart goes out to the Ukrainian, the Russian people. I have a great respect and affinity for these people. They're a great inspiration to me, and what they've done with overthrowing the Tsar and establishing the first worker state and then defeating the Nazis and then going to space 10 years after. I mean, that's just, titans of men. So seeing these two brother nations go to war that used to be united is devastating. It's devastating. And for the people there, my heart goes out to them. But this is not America's war, as much as I hold those opinions true. And a lot of people I see, they put out this stand with Ukraine, and they're going to protest to say, no, we have to stand with Ukraine, do more than sanctions. To those people, I say, go to the enlistment office instead of protesting. Go to the enlistment office and tell them you want to enlist and fight to the Russians. Go do that. Then come back to me and say, stand with Ukraine. But what you're doing is you're falling for the manufacturing for consent for a new war. You are giving the American ruling class the ammunition to go and say, yeah, maybe we can declare war. Maybe we can send, some advisors or like some spec ops missions down there, increasing the potential for this to go hot in an already, hot between us and Russia. So you want to go fight Ukraine? They have foreign legions set up. Why don't you go volunteer? Why don't you go to the battlefield? Don't drag me into this. This is not America's war. You guys are creating a situation that will put America at war, and our whole people will suffer. If you want to suffer, if you're a sadomasochist and you want to go fight for Ukraine, go join their foreign legions. Go join their legion battalions that they set up. It's on the internet. It's on Reddit. You can go there. Go there. Go do that. You want to empty your bank account? You want to be poor for war? You go empty your bank account and donate to Ukraine. Don't make me empty my bank account and my whole neighborhood's bank accounts because you want to go and embark on this stupid war because you think it's right or moral. By the way, for all you moralizers out there that are saying, no, Russia's the ultimate evil and Ukraine is based and good, they literally have, as part of their National Guard units, the Azov Battalion, which I've been talking about for like a year. They're literally a neo-Nazi militia. They're a neo-Nazi militia. So if you want to go fight alongside them, be my guest. That's just insane. In this country, we, like I said before, we have gas prices rising, right? And that's because Russia shut off its gas lines to Europe. And that makes America export gas to Europe. So we are literally exporting gas to Europe. That's why we went from it was getting lower. It was getting to like 337 to 350. Now it's like in the 360s to 370s. Some places it's in the 380s because we have to go and sell all of our gas to Europe. So because we have to make up for the demand that Russia shut off. So that makes it harder and more expensive for us to actually get gas. We can't get gas because of the Ukrainians and because of the Russians. My gas should not be going to another country that's not even our business. I'm anti-war, and when I say I'm anti-war everywhere. I don't care what the reason is. We should not be involved in another nation's affairs. We should not be involved in another nation's affairs. And in case you haven't heard it the first two times, we should not be involved in another nation's affairs. We're selling weapons to these people, to the Ukrainians. We're giving cash aid to Ukraine. That's going to bloat our budget and increase inflation. So it's going to be even harder to buy necessities. You know, we're talking the conservatives and the Democrats, the center Democrats will say, "Oh, we can't have universal health care or any of these other social spending bills because it's going to create inflation and blah blah blah." But $330 million in arms for Ukraine? Absolutely. We how could that backfire? It's not like we just saw the Taliban take all the guns. $330 million down the drain. And what happens? It's harder for us to heat our homes and to fuel our cars and to go buy food. Bacon is expensive. Meat is expensive. Going out is expensive. I went to a diner the other day and I ordered a breakfast burrito with a side of fries and a coffee, and it ended up being $22 before tip. It used to be like, I don't know, like $15. That's almost like a 100% increase, I think. I don't really know math, but that seems about right. Someone, Cooler Boy Patrick, just said moin. I don't know what that means. I don't even know who you are. Are you Patrick that I play Minecraft with? I don't know. But giving out weapons and all this, it's going to increase the level at which Russia gets pissed at us. They already, they're at level 2 of like the second highest state of nuclear readiness for no reason. They're backed into a corner. They know that. But why are we backing them into a corner to begin with? That's in Ukraine. Russia has beef with Ukraine. They don't have beef with America. And the only reason they have beef with America is because we keep expanding NATO. This brings me to my next point. The United States being a part of NATO increases our likelihood of nuclear war or conventional warfare that will slaughter millions of Americans. NATO was designed to be an anti-communist deterrent. Literally, Russia in 2000, under the leadership of Putin, actually applied to be a member of NATO. So that way, there could be no more tensions between the two countries. Moin is a North German word. I'm just visiting your stream. Oh, well, thank you. Welcome aboard. I hope you like my kvetching about why America shouldn't even be involved in this thing at all. And I know you could probably sympathize with that because the German government initially was just like, yo, we're just going to give you guys like 5,000 helmets, Ukraine. Like, please leave us out of this. So I hope you sympathize with that. But anyway, the United States being a part of this, like, we're now poking the bear when we don't even need to. We literally rejected them in 2000 from NATO. Russia could have been a NATO member, but that would have, blown the necessity of having NATO even in existence out of the water. Because the whole point of, if everything is secured, there's no need for NATO. Because NATO is a military alliance. So if we still have NATO when our biggest enemy just joined, what's the point? So naturally, we had to say, no, you don't qualify for some reason. Now, we set it up so we would eventually have war with Russia and have this arms monopoly over Europe and resource monopoly over Europe to keep selling them shit. So that way, we always had an eternal enemy, an eternal justification for NATO. The United States should also not be in NATO because we literally have to bail out Europe with our own arms and our own funding for their military. That's why they can have all these nice social programs, because they get a fat check and some rifles from us every year. It's not fair to us. It's literally making the American citizen have to pay more of a bill than we already have to pay. It's insane. Even being in NATO right now, we should never have been involved in any foreign conflict to begin with, and the fact we've been in NATO for so long has exponentially increased our likelihood of going to war with anyone in Europe because we're a NATO member. And, it's one against, what is it? You attack one and then everyone else comes together, right? So if someone gets attacked, if they attack Poland, America's got to hop in. And no American wants to go to war with that. And this situation has the potential to expand. We don't know what's going to happen. There could be an accidental misfire. Something gets hit on the NATO side of the border, and it's over. And then we have to go to war. And that's going to kill millions of Americans. Millions of us. Either indirectly on the home front through cyber attacks and nuclear warfare, or non-nuclear ballistic missiles that will be shot from Russian submarines, which actually have gotten very close to America in the past, it's going to make our standard of living even harder. We're going to have to probably ration again like we did in the Second World War, and I don't think most Americans even would know how to do that. So it's going to be a disaster for us. We need to withdraw. Come back to the homeland and fix our country before we fall victim to one of the other nasty sides of this war, cyber attacks. Cooler Boy Patrick says, as a German, I support peace, but we can't let Ukraine die. That's my opinion. I mean, hey, listen, like, I'm going to be real with you. I support peace too. I agree with you on that. But if Ukraine's going to die, let it die alone, because it's not America's business. If your country wants to support that, by all means, go ahead. But we literally have given so much. I'm sorry, my parents are in the other room laughing. We've given so much to this war that, over the years, against terrorism, against communism. It's not even our business anymore. We're so war weary that it doesn't even make sense. It's painful. And I think that if we stick to, if we try to defend Ukraine, like I said before, we're gonna get screwed. Just like we saw with cyber attacks, right? Like, cyber attacks against Russia were deadly. When we did get cyber attacks against us in the earlier 2000s by Russia, it did mess with the markets a lot, but it has potential to do more than that. They put us at an increased risk of critical infrastructure being inoperable. Cell phone towers, electricity, gas lines, power grids, hospitals, even radio stations, and the internet will all be shut down. These cyber attacks can also be used against banks to shut down ATMs and banking systems or take money out of your account. This is another thing that that's insane to me, is that we're going to really be at a point where our economy could collapse if our banking systems are shut down. ATMs won't be able to work. If they shut down the electricity, how are you going to buy food? How are you going to take money out of the ATM? This is the thing. It's going to be very difficult to survive because a lot of our payment is through digital means, through credit cards and debit cards. When we have, credit cards and debit cards, it saves us a lot of time and convenience, but it's to the point now where the government and private sector is like, oh, we should just switch to cashless. The reason for cyber attacks, the reason for warfare in the modern era, is the reason why we cannot be a cashless society. We need cash. There must be cash. Because if there is no cash, we will be dead in the water if the electricity is shut down. The global market will collapse. America will descend into inflation even larger than we've seen in the last 2 years. The United States will literally lose more than it has to gain by fighting for Ukraine and for NATO. For 150 years as an imperialist power, our time of doing that is coming to an end, and it would be wise to abandon NATO and our constant warfare to clean up our national debt, our housing crisis, our lack of proper health care and hygiene practices. If we don't do this on our own volition, the whole project is going to come crashing down, and we will descend to a lesser and worse state than we currently are at. All for what? For Ukraine. This is ridiculous. And it's going to be used as a means, this whole thing is going to be used as a means to sell weapons, to sell, guns and drugs and, chemical things and all this nasty crap to necessitate the need for NATO and American intervention. It's no longer our business. It's no longer our business to be involved in the world affairs. And when I say this, I mean this seriously. The United States should leave NATO, should rebuild our country, and it should absolutely, under any and all circumstances, be isolationist and work on repairing itself, rebuilding ourselves, and maintaining an army for national defense of our land. That is literally our duty to ourselves. We have to retreat within the selves to defend ourselves, and that is the goal of America, and that's what it should be. But we have these imperialist warmongers as president and is in charge of our country and our government and our private sector. But what we need to do is retreat within the self and rebuild our country. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again so much for listening in to another Backpacking America episode. I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Innate Cleaning on Instagram. That is INNATE Cleaning. He will make love to your floors and finesse your walls. And I honestly think he is. Wow, I almost blanked out. That's really bad. I blanked out on a promotion. So yeah, definitely check him out. And on the link in my link tree, check out some of the cannabis deals I got. There's a cannabis reseller, Jackson Cannabis. That would be Canna15 for a 15% discount on all cannabis products on their website. Thank you again, everyone, and